And how does it evolve following that? There's demand in the market that
it started first because there had been processes and tools and systems used. Back then in '73, in most of the world, the selection tools included interviews, and you tried to train people to be better interviews. Often they used personality tests or interest tests or aptitude tests. Occasionally they used skill tests, and that's fine to show you have the skill. But the difficulty is the success rate was very low. Low being that they were only right maybe 43, 44% of the time. We then were retained by a very deep-pocketed government, the United States government, who was able to give us some resources most researchers never had. They gave us samples of 5,000 people at a time who we could test and compare with their actual performance. The advantage of having police officers was that police officers, after 3 years on the job, were so well tracked and so well monitored, they knew how good or how weak they were very, very precisely. As a result of that, with the best research possible, we were able to find, by taking a piece of a personality test and a piece of a biographic, various things, we could improve their accuracy by maybe 5 or 6%. So now, instead of being wrong 48% of the time, they were only wrong 42% of the time. And what they essentially said, that may be very useful in business. 5 or 6 improvement would make a lot of money in business, but that's not good enough for who we assign a gun to and give them the right to use it. So we went back again and started from scratch and built a personality test and a work history test and a motivation test absolutely from scratch, using the best research techniques. And by the way, you'll appreciate this in today's modern technology, Alec. There was no computer that could handle this data. There was no internet back then. We actually used a government satellite system, communication system, to connect computers from 4 universities. One in Washington, D.C., one in Dayton, Ohio, one in Los Angeles, and one in Hawaii, so that we had enough computing power to run the data.
And then only on weekends.
Only weekends.
Yeah, couldn't stop the university. So it happened on weekends. And because of that kind of process, we used the best techniques that any place could have ever had. No university would have had the resource and the power and the sample to do that, nor other researchers. But even when we did the most perfect process possible, the best scientific method process, we only got another 4 or 5% improvement. And the Justice Department said, still not good enough. And it wasn't us, but somebody on our team was smart enough or bright enough or maybe just lucky enough to say, well, how does an insurance company predict so accurately? And this surprised us, but this would be interesting, and I'll use you as an example because you're a very important person. But if someone wanted to insure you for
several $million.
$50 million US or euros or something like that, the insurance company, and there wouldn't be many, would insist on a very thorough medical exam. One of the major medical centers. Well, there is a medical exam process that takes 4 or 5 days that is that thorough. It's called exquisitely accurate in medical terms. And it's used very selectively for very important and very established people because it's very expensive. When they're done, they have actually collected almost 2,000 pieces of data about you.
Fantastic.
So you've had blood tests and CAT scans, X-rays, the whole stress test, the whole works. The last day when they sit down to explain your results, they will have identified anything that was ever wrong with you from the moment of conception just about. And it's descriptively accurate in describing your health today. Let me finish one comment. If they asked, if you ask them a predictive question, now you know all about my health, how long am I going to live? They can't respond.
Thank you, Robert. I think we need to have a short break for a commercial break, and we should be coming back in a few minutes. Thank you. Look forward to see you again.